Yo, welcome back, everybody, to the Boomer Bust Podcast. I'm your host, Shoot the Rock. I'm here with my boy, Matt. How are we doing today, Matt?
Good, good, good. What is this? 4 weeks in a row now, I believe. A month straight of recording episodes and posting weekly on the Boomer Bust Pod on the Bandwagon Sports YouTube channel. We're also on Spotify, so that's even better. But yeah, it's going good. I mean, we're staying consistent and life's been pretty good. Sports kind of at a I would say all-time high because we're still missing baseball, but yeah, this is kind of time of year where things start churning and the sports kind of we start getting into March Madness. We got Super Bowl weekend next weekend, and yeah, spring training's beginning soon. So life is good if you're a sports fan. That's what I'll say. How about you? How you been doing,
Yeah,
Durock?
doing pretty good. Like you said, consistency here. Sadly, JJ is under the weather now from his work trip last week, so that's why we're delayed a day here, and it is only the two of us. But yeah, I mean, while no football this weekend, unless you're a sicko and watch the Pro Bowl, we do have a great slate of college basketball, so that's what we're going to talk about. Also, the All-Star reserves were just announced. Not going to talk about that today, but maybe some content on the channel coming about that. But yeah, like I said, great weekend of college basketball. I got to say it. The schedule makers, I'm assuming that ESPN has something to do with this. Maybe it's the conference. I don't know. They do a good job. They know, all right, this is kind of the dead weekend in between. So let's have a big college basketball weekend. And that's exactly what we have here. So we have top 25, four top 10 ranked unranked games. So we're going to go through, give our predictions on all of those, kind of like how we've been giving picks on the football games. And then as well, talk maybe some other games we're going to watch. So again, probably a pretty short episode today, but we got some good stuff coming here for you guys. So, like I said here, first game we have on Saturday on ESPN at 4 Eastern. Number 4 Houston heads to number 8 Kansas. There's no lines for any of these games, but take this what you will. The ESPN BPI predictor has Houston with a 75.3% chance to win this game. Matt, what is your pick in this one?
Yeah, I like Houston Cougs here on this one. I mean, just they kind of been that complete team all year on offense, and then on defense, they kind of only give up. I think it's like a league low, like 53 points a game, if I'm not mistaken. However, they are playing an electric Kansas team that averages around 79 to 80 points a game. But Kansas, I just have a lot of question marks with them. KJ Adams kind of has been a spark for them this season, and he's a good player, but I don't know. Jamal Sheed has proven for Houston to be a really good defender this year, and with them being such a defensive heavy team, I think this is what changes between NBA and college. Is you got your teams in college that defensively are just ahead of the pack, and this Houston team can really move the ball well offensively. So I like Houston in this spot. I mean, obviously Kansas picking up Dickinson this year, that's a big move for them. I still don't think he is reaching his full potential though. You know, I've always expected a little more from Hunter, and he's kind of. It's not that he's let me down this year with Kansas. He just hasn't lived up to what I thought he'd be doing there for Kansas. They usually are really good at coaching big men, and yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Kansas here, so I'm gonna roll with Houston and the Cougars. Not really much else to say outside of them. I think they're the number one defense in the country. I could be mistaken though, but yeah, I like Houston here on the road.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely up there. I'm not sure exactly. It also probably depends on what metric you look at. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, this
yeah.
has been Kansas, I believe, tied for, if not their worst start in Big 12 play under Bill Self.
Yep.
And, I mean, another disappointing loss last weekend at Iowa State on the road. They've lost at West Virginia on the road. So, yeah, just they lost at UCF on the road. So, not great on the road. But this game's at Fog Allen. And it is very tough to go into Fog Allen Fieldhouse and win. And I just feel like I've my probably entire life at this point have been watching too many Kansas games where when they have a big team, a big opponent, their big game of the year coming into town, they always just find a way to eke it out. And especially just with some of the veteran guys I have on this team, like you mentioned, in Hunter Dickinson, in Kevin McCullough, in DeJuan Harris, I think those guys, veteran leaders, are going to find a way to pull it out for the Jayhawks. I don't know what the spread will be. Or, well, I would, like I said, according to the analytics here, Kansas is the underdog. So I probably would take Kansas plus the points for sure. and then I'm going to take them to win the game as well. So
Oh wow.
I like
Okay.
that.
So we're on the opposite side. Opposite side here. I hope it's a good game though. I'm sick of seeing these like these getting close to March Madness time, but these like 3 versus 6 seeds or 4 versus 6 seeds in this instance, and just it's a lopsided game. So I just kind of want to see some good ball being played, and hopefully we can get away with like a 1 point, 2 point game at the end. That'd be nice to see.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to get that for sure in this one. I mean, Houston had a heck of a game on Monday against Texas that went down to the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a one possession game. They ended up winning by 4, got a cover for me, so that was nice. But it was one
Nice,
of those
nice.
one possession games all day. So good game there. Then the next one, the big one on my docket, I believe for you as well. The 7th ranked Duke Blue Devils head to the Dean Dome, taking on the 3rd ranked North Carolina Tar Heels, who slipped up earlier in the week. I called it on Layup Lines. Hope you guys check that video out. Hopefully made you some cash in that one. That game is at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN Saturday. Matt, who are you liking in that one? Oh, wait, let me give you the analytics here. I believe, I already pulled this one up. It's North Carolina has a 2/3% chance to win, 66%.
Yeah, I mean this is a tough one. I think we're both Blue Devils fans here. I love Duke a lot. That's kind of the first conversation we had when I actually met you a couple of years back. We talked about Duke basketball, so that was electric. And it's gonna be hard for me to not want to back Duke in this spot. But I like North Carolina, man. They've been playing really good basketball. Duke's still gonna be a powerhouse. They're always gonna be that blue blood school. But something about R.J. Davis, he could play ball. I really want to see him in the league soon because he really is a good basketball player fundamentally on the defensive side of the ball and scoring. I believe he's their leading scorer.
Yeah.
22, 23 something points like that. And then you got Baycott. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think seeing him and Kyle Filipowski go after it should be a battle of the ages in this spot. But where's this game at? I'm curious.
It's in Carolina at
Okay.
Chapel Hill.
At Chapel Hill. Okay. Yeah, they've split there the last couple of years, if I'm not mistaken.
Duke
But,
won both
yeah.
games last year in the series.
Really? Okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna lean UNC here. I would love to see what the line actually is when we do see that, because if Duke, I'm assuming they're probably gonna be an underdog since it's at Chapel Hill. So I would probably lean points for Duke, but if you have to just give me one team to win, I'm gonna take North Carolina in this spot. You got Ingram Harrison, who's been playing really good for them this year, and then obviously with RJ and Baycott, that team's kind of fundamentally sound. So I'm gonna lean North Carolina, and that like aches my heart as I'm sitting here talking about it because I love Duke basketball, but they haven't gotten their feet under themselves completely. I mean, that loss to Arkansas in like a couple weeks, or maybe that was about a month, 6 weeks
2
ago
months
back.
ago at this point. I was in December.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. It's February 1st, everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Jeez. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, Duke, though, it's still a couple question marks for me there for them, especially when it comes tournament time. But I'm going to lean UNC in this game. Not too much more for me to add on that one. What about you?
They tell you to pick with your head and not your heart. You, for sure, are picking with your head. Carolina's a very good squad. I think they're a Final Four caliber team this year. Tough loss on Tuesday, but, I mean, like I was kind of saying, this is a look-ahead game. You're playing your biggest game of the year up to this date. And, I mean, Duke kind of got lucky last Saturday. They got the foul call that North Carolina did not get on Tuesday. So, Carolina, they'd probably be a good play here. But I'm a Duke fan. I cannot get myself to pick the North Carolina Tar Heels. Never in my life. Also, with that loss, Carolina was undefeated in conference play up until that point, but now that loss makes the regular season ACC title very much back in play for Duke, especially if they can pull this one out. Then both teams would be, or Carolina would be 9-2 in conference, Duke would be 8-2, so both would have 2 losses. And yeah, early in the year, like I said, did not like what I saw from this Duke team, just like did not win the big game. Lost that game to Arizona, lost that game at Arkansas. I mean, really haven't had some great performances against, losing at home to Pitt's unacceptable. Lost at Georgia Tech, however, Georgia Tech's now beat both these teams at home, but then played Georgia Tech close. But I'm going with the Blue Devils. I mean, like I said, they've won in the Dean Dome the past 2 years. So I just can't pick against them. So I'm going with Duke in this one. We're split again.
We're split again. Wow, yeah. I mean, deep down in my soul and in my heart, I will be rooting for the Duke Blue Devils. However, I do think North Carolina pulls this one out. But that's the beauty of college basketball and sports as a whole, right? Anything can happen on any given day.
Exactly. So then moving on, the final game of this ESPN triple header. That's a doozy on Saturday. We have number 5 Tennessee going to number 10 Kentucky. The game will be at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Both these teams coming off a loss, upset losses at home the past 2 days. But who do you like to right the ship in this one?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that upset loss for both teams was by the Gamecocks as well, correct? South Carolina handled Kentucky pretty well, and then they beat Tennessee, if I'm not
They
mistaken.
beat Tennessee
2 days ago.
this weekend. They've beat Kentucky already this year, but it was Florida that beat Kentucky on
It was
Tuesday.
on Tuesday, yeah, okay.
But
yeah,
yes,
no,
Carolina has beaten both these teams this year now.
Yes, yes. South Carolina with two big upsets there as an unranked team. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Vols here. They looked a lot better against South Carolina than Kentucky did about 2 weeks or a week ago. I think that game. I want to actually check that real quick. I'll check that for you in 2 seconds.
I'll pull it up. You
Yep.
keep going.
Yep, it was Tuesday, January 23rd. So about 8 days ago, South Carolina beat Kentucky by 17. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Vols here. That big move of signing Connect. I always mess it up.
Dalton Connect.
Yes, Connect. He's been really good for them. He did have an off day against South Carolina there this past weekend. However, I think this Tennessee Vols team is getting their feet under themselves. You know, they're going to be a top 2 seed anywhere they're placed in the bracket, in my opinion. But yeah, I like the way this team is coached. And you kind of got some studs on this roster. And then you got Santiago Vescovi, who's also another guy coming back who was great last season, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to go with the Vols here. I'm not too high on Kentucky. Maybe that's because they cost me a bet a couple weeks ago. Partially has something to do with it, Jeff. Unreal. We'll never let that one die. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Vols here in this spot. I believe they are at home, too.
No, the game's in. The game's in Rupp.
In Kentucky. Yeah, in Rupp. Okay. I'm still going to go with the Vols here, and I hope they're plus money. I don't think they will be, but I would love to take them here in this spot. Yeah, give me the number 5 seed Tennessee Volunteers to win this game.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to give you the BPI analytics. 58% chance that Tennessee wins. And this one I'm going to be riding with you. Dalton Connect actually was the one guy that came to play for Tennessee on Monday, scoring 31 points for them. Yeah. That's the thing. They're going to need other guys to step up. I mean, Zakai Ziegler, let me pull up this box score again here. Zakai Ziegler only had 2 points going 0-6 from the field. That can't happen if you're going to win on the road. I think he's going to step up, have a much better game. Santiago Vescovi, like you said, another really solid player for them. Like, I just like this Tennessee team overall. I think they have a good, solid squad. Not a whole lot of depth, but their starting 5 is arguably probably one of the best in the country. And from the couple games I've watched with Kentucky, like, they're good. But every time, like, people start getting really high on Kentucky, say they're going to be a top 10, or not say they're top 10, say they're like a second weekend Final Four caliber team, I just don't see it. Because then, like I said, like game last night, losing at home to Florida, that's just like unacceptable. Getting blown out by South Carolina, who is a very good team yet. Only 3 losses on the year for South Carolina. But I just think Tennessee, outside of that loss on Tuesday, again, Monday, I think that's another just kind of look-ahead spot, kind of like North Carolina did. I just think they're a better team. I think they're a Final Four caliber team, unlike Kentucky. So I'm going to go with the Vols to take that one.
Let's go. We're on the same side finally. Cheers to that one.
Yeah, cheers. And then finally, the last ranked-on-ranked matchup we have here. The second-ranked Purdue Boilermakers head to the Kohl Center in Madison to take on the 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers. It is going to be on CBS at 1 Eastern on Sunday. And then let me just pull up here. According to ESPN BPI, Purdue has a 59% chance to win that one. Purdue eked out a close win against Northwestern last night. A very funny ejection there at the end of the game if you have not seen that.
Yeah.
And then Wisconsin is about to play in Lincoln at Nebraska. It's about to tip off shortly before we're recording this. But who do you like to take the game on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I like Purdue in this spot, to be honest. I mean, you can't go wrong with Purdue. And I'm also fading Wisconsin tonight. Hopefully when this podcast is out tomorrow on Friday, hopefully that looks like it was a good pick. But yeah, I'm going to be taking Nebraska tonight in that spot, so might as well fade them again and give me Purdue. I mean, they're your powerhouse in college basketball, and I kind of think they're going to run away with this game. I would love to see. I'm so upset that these spreads aren't out yet, but it makes sense. I mean, we're 2 days early, but I would love to see what it's at because I would probably hammer it anything up to 7, 8, 9.5, if I'm gonna be
Dang.
honest. I think, yeah, Purdue's playing a good brand of basketball. Let's just hope they don't get upset again come tournament time. But yeah, I like the Boilermakers, and it's kind of short and simple for me on that one.
Yeah, if the game was in West Lafayette, if Purdue was at home, I would definitely agree with you. I think like they would probably win just because while Wisconsin does have great guards, guys like Chucky Hepburn and AJ Storr, I just don't think they have a big
AJ
that
Storr's
can contest Zach Edey. I mean, he's gonna win National Player of the Year again. Hopefully, his team
Yep.
can actually go somewhere in the tournament this year. I
Yeah,
think their
right.
shooters kind of have stepped up more this season. That's what did them in that tournament game last year. I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the Badgers just because this is a little bit shorter turnaround for them going Thursday to Sunday.
The Boilermakers, you mean? You said the Badgers?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
to
I'm going with
clarify.
the Boilermakers. Shorter turnaround for the Badgers, even though it is at home. I just hope we don't get a Purdue road dud like we did against Northwestern. It might just be Northwestern has Purdue's number. I mean, they beat Northwestern home or Purdue lost to Northwestern at Northwestern last year. They lost again this year. Northwestern played them close again last night. Another one of those scheduled road losses would have been against Rutgers last weekend, but Purdue took care of that one. So hopefully they take care of it again on Sunday. But I mean, while these ranked matchups are great, they're not the only games going on this weekend. There's a lot of good ones. Matt, what are some other games that you have on your radar that you're going to be tuning into this weekend?
There's actually one more ranked versus ranked, if I'm not
There
mistaken, that
is.
is on this weekend, and that would be Iowa State versus the Baylor Bears. And I like Iowa State in this game, man. I like Iowa State a lot this year. I really do. I mean, they probably have a cumulative 6 or 7 ranked wins this year, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they had Houston and the Cougs come to them earlier in January, took care of business there. The only big loss that kind of made me think twice about them was against Oklahoma in that game, but they kind of just came out flat on the road after playing a bad New Hampshire team. So, but I mean, they've taken care of business against TCU. They beat Kansas State, who's a good college basketball program. Then they beat Kansas, like we just talked about last weekend. And now they kind of come to that death row kind of point in their schedule where they have Baylor on Saturday. Then they play Texas. Then they play TCU again. Then they get a 15 ranked Texas Tech. Then a Houston Cougs again. So I mean, they got a lot of tough games coming up here. And then they get to see Oklahoma again at the end of the year, which should be exciting because I'm really looking forward to seeing that game. I was actually trying to see if I could get tickets to go see that game at Iowa State. But yeah, I like the Iowa State Cyclones in this game against Baylor. I'm sorry. And yeah, Baylor, they're always that team that you see when you're making a March Madness bracket. Not that this is a bracket or anything; it's just a regular season game. But even though they're traveling into Baylor, I think they kind of got the better guard play. Yeah, I'm gonna lean Iowa State and the Cyclones in this one. And there's another game I want to touch on, but I want to let you get your opinion on that Iowa State Baylor game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Baylor had not been playing well as of late. And, I mean, they were my upset pick yesterday. I thought they were going to lose at UCF. And, I mean, it looked like they were going to. They came back in the second half there, which was a good win for them. If the game was in Hilton, if it was in Ames, Hilton Magic, Iowa State's not losing
Yeah.
at home this year. But since it's in Baylor, I might lean the Bears in this one. Like I said, I might take Iowa State the points. So right now it's like a 58% chance for Baylor to win on ESPN's BPI. But yeah, this is another one I think I could very well see it going either way. But I think Baylor squeaks it out.
Okay, so we're on the same with 2 games and with ranked games, and we are fading each other with 3 games. So that should be an interesting episode come Super Bowl Sunday if we recap any of that
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
What about you? What was the
Is
other
there-
game you wanted to watch?
Well, I want you to go ahead. Is there another game that was on your radar outside of Iowa State Baylor maybe?
For me, if you just want to, then finish the night on ESPN, just keep it on there. I'm going Saturday night. They're not ranked this year. It's not a ranked matchup between them. I mean, we've seen years where they're like both undefeated. Gonzaga's probably actually one of their worst teams. They could miss the tournament this year. But if they want to have a big resume-building win, they have their rival St. Mary's coming into the Kennel Saturday night, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN. Gonzaga's actually already lost a conference game this year. They lost to Santa Clara, who St. Mary's just beat for the second time this season last night. But it is never easy to win in the Kennel. And the game here, it has Gonzaga with a 69% chance to win. Nice. And I mean, they're definitely a bit more high-scoring team than the Gales. So it's kind of a battle of styles here. Can Gonzaga's offense prevail, or will St. Mary's be able to slow the game down? And I think at home, just the energy is going to be too high. They're not going to be able to. So I like Gonzaga to win this one and put their chances of winning the West Coast Conference, back into play.
Okay, I like that. Yeah,
I'm a big mid-major guy. I like watching West Coast Conference. I like watching a little bit Atlantic 10, some Mountain West. Granted, Mountain West can have more bids than like the Pac-12 and the ACC this year, so I don't even know if they're considered mid-major. But I like watching these mid-major programs.
Yeah, I mean, basketball's basketball, and those mid-major teams will come to play sometimes. So that's definitely exciting. I'm going to take us to the Southeastern here, and I like the Mississippi State Bulldogs to make a little upset against Bama this weekend. Bama ranked 23rd, 24th, if I'm not mistaken. One of those two. I was looking at it earlier this morning. And yeah, I like this Mississippi State team a lot. I've been watching a lot of their games. For some reason, it's the one game I get, coming off an upset win over Auburn. That was a big win on this past Saturday. They did just lose to Ole Miss Tuesday?
But that was Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Tuesday, okay, yeah. It was a 4-point loss, though, nothing crazy. And I watched that whole Alabama-Mississippi State game back on January something, 13th, 10th, 12th, somewhere in that
January 13th, Alabama beat the Bulldogs on the road, 82-74.
Right? Yep, exactly. And I watched that whole game. And there were a lot of questionable calls at the end of that game favoring Bama and Roll Tide. But, yeah, I'm going to go Mississippi State here in an upset fashion. They get to go on the road into Tuscaloosa. I like Mississippi State for a little upset. Definitely a sprinkle I will be putting on my sports book. Remember, responsibly gamble out there, kids. Don't be dumb. However, I will be throwing a little couple units on Mississippi State to win this game. I don't got really too much on stats or players. It's just more of kind of a gut feeling here. And, yeah, I'm going to go with the Mississippi State. Cameron Matthews, Josh Hubbard, DJ Jeffries. They got a couple guys there that can hoop. I actually met Josh Hubbard about a year and a half ago. And that guy can play basketball, let me tell you. So I'm at a local gym, and I was like, what? And, yeah, so it might be a little biased here, but I'm going to go Mississippi State over Alabama.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, you're probably going to get a pretty solid price on that because it gives Alabama an 85% chance to win.
I like that because when they played Mississippi State in Mississippi, it was about Bama was, I think, 9.5 point favorites because I remember taking Mississippi State spread and they covered the 8, or the 9.5 by losing by 8. So I'll take them again. I'm going to double down on them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I could see a cover. Basketball. I could see a cover, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going with Alabama. Mississippi State was a team I was high on earlier in the year and actually was like betting on them a decent amount. But then I forget. They had a loss to Georgia Tech, which I guess now Georgia Tech's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, but in the hindsight of the moment, it was a bad loss for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, they've had some good wins this year. They knocked off, like you mentioned, Auburn. They also beat Tennessee earlier in the season. So they have had some good wins, but yeah, I mean, that's a tough loss this past Tuesday to your rival, and then just having to go on the road too. And the fact that Alabama's already beat them this year, we've already seen this team. I could, like I said, I'll look at the line, maybe take your word, tail you on a cover on the spread, but I'm probably gonna go Alabama to win outright.
Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of other good games on, man. I mean, if you love watching any type of basketball, Saturday is the day to watch college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
It is electric.
Like I said, I think they kind of know that like this is the weekend. Football finally doesn't have a grasp. Like people are starting to kind of be like, all right, what should I watch now that football is over? Oh, I see a lot of college basketball on this Saturday. Let's watch it. I mean, another good one that I'll probably be watching to start my day at 11, UConn heads to St. John's. UConn's actually kind of struggled. I thought they were going to win pretty handily last night. A lot going on with Providence this week. Granted, more off-the-court stuff. And, again, that's also maybe more social media stuff, so they probably weren't paying attention to it as much. But, yeah, I mean, UConn on the road, and especially in the Garden, never a tough place, never an easy place to win. So I could maybe be talked into, do a little sprinkle there on St. John's to pull that one out. So, but, yeah, those are really all the games I got on my watch for the big ones. Anything else for you, Matt?
That game's at Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. So
I really like whatever the points were whenever we see it. I actually really like St. John's in that because if I'm not mistaken, they matched up earlier this year in January. If you want to look that up, and I'm pretty sure St.
yeah.
John's lost by like 3 or 4 in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Look that up for me real quick. This UConn Huskies team has been kind of lackluster to what we thought
UConn
they
won
would
by
kinda-
4 at home on
Okay.
December 23rd, though. That's kind of around like
Okay.
finals, like Christmas time. You never know what could happen that time of year. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's never easy to win on the Garden, and UConn hasn't. Well, there's like some games they've looked really dominant, especially on the road. They really haven't. They've looked kind of beatable. They've played some close games.
Yeah, well, I got to make sure not to say anything about kids studying books because I remember saying that last year, and I forgot what team it was that burned me.
Princeton beat Arizona.
Princeton, that's what it was.
If we had more of a following, I would have thought about putting that on a shirt at the time. So
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
this year when
100%.
we have some big upset wins that we pick,
Yeah.
maybe Owl Man Part 2 will have to be on a shirt this year.
I said Arizona studies ball, and Princeton studies books. And was I wrong about that one, fella?
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Any last words for the people, Matt?
No, I mean, enjoy your week off. Save some units, fellow sports bettors out there for Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy kind of a laid-back week. It's been what? This would be week 21 straight of NFL football, and now we don't have it anymore. So, yeah, enjoy your week off and just watch some sports on Saturday and Sunday. No need to get up early and sweat some bets. And yeah, other than that, we'll probably see you guys very soon for our Super Bowl picks. I'm excited for that one. Been doing some deep research. Brock Purdy, the GOAT, versus Mahomes, the baby GOAT. It's crazy. We got a wonderful weekend ahead of us. But yeah, other than that, just make sure to drop a like, subscribe, maybe share it to a homie. What about your grandma? She's probably sitting there watching Forensics Files. Let her watch the pod and turn the noties on.
Yes,
It's been
sir.
a while since I've
Yes,
said that.
sir.
Turn the noties on, man. Otherwise, anything last from you, Durock? Or
No, I
is this
mean,
all?
yeah, solid weekend of college basketball. Hope you guys all enjoy it, and yeah, hopefully big episode next week. Props, picks, everything regarding the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So
Hopefully JJ's back. Matter of fact,
Hopefully JJ
JJ
will be
will be back. We're making sure. If we have to drag him here, he's coming.
yes, sir. Alrighty, we will see you guys then. Peace.